and welcome Manana Heron to ieStyleLIVE from the couch with me, Sonya Lennon. Last year, hundreds of you attended our wonderful sellout event at the Cork City Hall. We feasted on fashion and beauty and intellectual stimulation with Louise O'Neill. This year, thanks to our new digital reality and the Irish Examiner's refusal to let you down, we have breached the hundreds and we are now in the thousands. So please, as you gather together, give yourself a huge round of applause. Over the next hour, expect fashion from Anne-Marie O'Connor, beauty with celebrity makeup artist Christine Liciniano, and the crescendo of our evening, an interview with Samantha Barry, the editor-in-chief of Glamour magazine, who just also happens to be from Ballincollig, County Cork. I'm sure there's some Ballincollig Cork girls out there listening. She joins us live from New York today. So if you have any questions for Samantha, please do send them in using the hashtag ieStyleLIVE on Twitter. We already have lots of questions in from your registration, so we're looking forward to a very lively conversation. We also have an interview with her in tomorrow's ieStyle Glossy magazine, only with your Irish Examiner, and I have an advanced copy of it right here. So if you've already got your subscription, it'll be delivered right to your door along with freshly baked muffins, steaming hot coffee, and 2 tiny ponies. And that's not all. We have amazing prizes to give away to 2 lucky people who have registered. So we know you're out there, we know you're watching, and we know you're going to love these prizes. Here's what you could win. A 5-star luxury retreat to Dromoland Castle. I'm in for that myself. Also, we have a luxury skincare gift worth €500 from Lancome. And we have a hashtag competition. We love a hashtag competition. So the hashtag is ieStyleLIVE. And you could win a €500 voucher to spend at your own wonderful Opera Lane. We know you want that. So all winners will be announced later on in the broadcast, so don't go anywhere. You need to buckle up for this hour-long roller coaster ride. Now, to help us get in the mood, the Irish Examiner wine reviewer Leslie Williams is going to show us how to make our signature ieStyleLIVE cocktail. We've emailed you all the ingredient list. I'm sure your staff has not let you down. So roll up your sleeves and release your inner mixologist. Over to you, Leslie.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to ieStyleLIVE from the couch cocktail. So this is a cocktail demo, just a quick one. I hope you've got some of your ingredients to hand. My name is Leslie Williams. I do the drinks writing in the Examiner weekend section. You'll see my picture over the wine column over where the beer and the spirit is. So I've created a cocktail. It's an adaptation of a classic cocktail, but we're going to call this the ieStyleLIVE cocktail. It's got some very fashionable seasonal ingredients, and we've got the most seasonal thing you could possibly have at this time of year, and that's blackberries. The next ingredient you're going to need is gin. I've gone with floral gin, also made from forage ingredients. If you want to use Gordon's pink gin or some of the more commercial pink gins, then, tone down the sugar a bit. They are a bit sweeter. I prefer to go with a more floral style. Third ingredient is sugar syrup. Sugar syrup is incredibly easy and something you should have in your kitchen. 300 mils of water, 300 grams of sugar, melted, put in a bottle, keeps for ages, keeps for years. Sugar syrup is used in sorbets, also used in whiskey sours, where we call it simple syrup, and so on. I've also got some additions which you might add in. Okay, fourth ingredient is lemon, and that's it. So I'm using a cocktail shaker. Feel free to just use a jug and do lots of muddling around with your wooden spoon. So let's get some blackberries. Oh God, I have a stray rose tip. Proof that I picked them myself. So 3 spoonfuls of blackberries. Now, muddle these. I'm using a muddler. Wooden spoon will work just as well. Just get them nice and mushy. They're going to get shaken around anyway, so this isn't crucial, but good to do. Now, 50 mils of gin. This is a 30 ml measure, so we're going to do 30 and about half. Don't be worried too much about the exact ingredients. It's important to be somewhat accurate, but don't forget this is meant to be fun. You're not making a souffle. Okay, so just a little bit of sugar syrup. Now, I have a fancy lemon squeezer here, because I don't want to get too many pips, but even if you do get pips, you're straining it, so it doesn't matter. So let's get the juice of that in there, a little bit messy. Lemon juice is crucial to this cocktail. This really adds that balancing factor. Okay, now, next thing we need is ice cubes. Lots of ice cubes. Now, this is a Boston shaker. They're not expensive. I think I paid about 50 euros for this whole kit. Feel free to use a jug, put some cellophane over it, put your hand over it. But shaking is important. Right, that's that. More ice into my glass. You could use some crushed ice, but I'm just going to use a small bit of ice. I don't want it too dilute. And you get a lovely purple color. Now, that, as you can see, is not fully up to the top. So you can, if you want, top it up with some champagne or some tonic. I think it needs a little slice of lemon. And I'm going to put a couple of blackberries on top. And that's it. Let's launch it.
You, I muddled my own blackberries. So there's loads of activity on the hashtag ieStyleLIVE. So let's get us trending. There's nothing better we could be doing. We are fabulous, and you might win a major prize. I wish I could be there in your living room with you. I know we'd be having loads of fun. So use the hashtag across all your platforms, and one lucky hashtagger will win a personal shopping appointment at Opera Lane, Cork, with 500 euros to spend in store. Get tweeting, get posting, ieStyleLIVE. Now, our first little bit of fashion of the evening. Anne-Marie O'Connor is the fashion editor of the Irish Examiner, but she is so much more. She's a super styler, she's an Uber shopper, an author, and a ruthless declutterer. There is no better captain to navigate us through the choppy 2020. Much as our worlds have transformed, so have our fashion needs, and shopping itself has changed forever. Our intrepid retailers continue to bring us bounty befitting of our situation. Anne-Marie trawled Cork's finest to answer the burning question, what do we want to wear now? Anne-Marie, you're so welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Not least because you've done all the hard work for us, but because you're about to present us not only a COVID capsule, but also the perfect Christmas wish list. So all the looks will be available on the irishexaminer.com. So you can WhatsApp the link to anybody who you want to send a hint to, right?
Exactly. And as you said, our shopping habits have changed.
Yes, totally. And you've reflected that in 5 perfect looks.
5 perfect looks that incorporate comfort, because let's face it, we're 6 months into the pandemic. The first couple of days we took to the loungewear and the PJs, and many of us are still wearing them. So we're kind of tired of them, and we want to still kind of keep that comfort, that essence of comfort that we've grown to love, but also just give ourselves a boost. You know, with further restrictions, I think it's all really taking a toll on us. And what better way to celebrate fashion than to do it visually and to just give ourselves a bit of a boost. And as we know, fashion can be such a great mood booster. So we're looking at things that combine wearability, comfort, and also style, of course.
Fantastic. I'm ready for look 1.
Okay. Look 1 is from yours truly. It's Lennon Courtney at Dunnes Stores.
Woo!
I had great fun with this look. I believe you're wearing the same top. It's a Lurex belted top. It's amazing. It's giving me serious Alexis Carrington vibes. I think it's great. In particular now, look, we're having one of Leslie's cocktails over Zoom, and we may be doing this for a while. So why not put on your gold lame top and just make a night of it? So that's 50 euros from Dunnes Stores. And you got it in one with these joggers, Sonya and Brendan. These are Tuxedo Joggers. They've got a cummerbund detail on the waist. They've got the detailing on the side, along the ankle, and a bit of bougie pleating. So I think these are an upscale jogger. It means that you can cast off the old sweatpants that you've been wearing maybe for the past few months. invest in a pair of these. These are just 60 euros. Wear them with a sweater by day and the fabulous Alexis Carrington top by night. And I finished it with these Mignon Gavigan mini Lola hoop earrings from a boutique in Dublin that I love called Lulerie. Mignon Gavigan is an American designer, and she is known for her party-centric, celebratory, irreverent designs. And what's great about these, even though they're quite big, they're so light on the ear, you don't even know you're wearing them. And these are 140 euros.
Mignon sounds like my kind of girl, I have to say. So that looks amazing, obviously, because I designed it. We have some questions in. We did questions, and we have a lot of the questions to the experts to answer. So the first question is from Sally Dillon. Hi, Sally. I hope you're listening. Sally says, I've had an accident last year and can no longer wear high heels. How can you still look glam in flats when you're only 5'4"? Sally, 5'4" is tall in my book. Getting fed up with trainers, with everything. And I really mean flats, no wedges, no kitten heels. What are your tips, Anne-Marie?
Well, the struggle is real because I struggle in reverse. I have a size 8 foot, and I find wearing flats can be difficult both for tall girls and for petite ladies as well. So I think if you're on the petite side, it's all about, as Coco Chanel said, fashion is a matter of proportions. So that's what you want to do. It's just playing lightly with the proportions. If you're going for a flat, like a ballet flat, rather than have a round toe, perhaps go for a pointy toe. There is a great brand called Aida, A-E-Y-D-E, and another Spanish brand called Bimba y Lola. And they have these great ballet flats, but with a big pearl at the top. So have fun with it. Do something that lengthens the foot. It sounds counterintuitive, but it works, trust me. In particular, when you pair it with a cropped trouser or a mini skirt, so an abbreviated hem, it just elongates the legs and it gets the proportions right. If you are looking for a small heel, make sure that the shaft is high enough. LK Bennett are masters. They have partnered with a podiatrist, and they get the heel shaft to heel height ratio just perfect. So you can get the right.
Cocktails have you had, Anne-Marie?
I can assure you I took one sip. I can assure you I've taken one sip. That was a mouthful. Come on. So they're a great brand to go for. But I think what you could look at as well this season, we're seeing a lot of Chelsea boots, maybe going for something that's like a Cuban heel or a small chunky heel, just to give you that little bit of height as well.
Fantastic. Shall we have a look at the second look? Sure.
So our second look is from M&S, and what I've noticed on the high street is we're seeing a lot of coordinates at the moment, namely knitwear, knit tops with matching skirts, but I love the idea of using leather. Leather is always one of these perennial friends, but not least during Christmas time, and especially in this beautiful berry color, which I think is a nice alternative to black. Black is great, but it's nice to have something that's a bit richer in tone. This two-piece from M&S is gorgeous. It's faux leather for people who are vegan. Perhaps you prefer this as an option. It's also slightly cheaper than the real deal. So you're looking at $77 for the shirt, the button-down shirt with the belt that can be worn over a roll neck with a pair of jeans, or paired with these trousers that are €54. Okay, I am a full size bigger on the bottom than I am on the top. And I can assure you, I have a theater pain trying to find the right trouser. And I tend to steer away from straight leg because the proportions aren't right on my body. My hips look a lot bigger. These fit beautifully. I am so impressed. Well done, M&S. What I would say is if you are going for a size, look to a size lower because they're a bit more generous in size, in particular in the jacket. So what's great about the jacket being a bit generous is, as I said, you can use it for layering purposes.
And so many functions in that little two-piece. And I have to say, it's a mantra of mine that if you can stand in a shop when you're about to buy something and think of 3 ways that you're going to use it in your daily life, that gives you so much more return on investment. So we have another question in. And this question is from Marie O'Brien. Hi, Marie O'Brien. I hope you have cocktail in hand. Marie asks, what are your views on ageless dressing and moving beyond the trends while still maintaining glamour factor?
Well, I'm 47, and I've always, I think that's something that's resonated with me for a while, is in particular when I started navigating my 40s. I always said trends are like salt. A little bit gives flavor, too much can kind of spoil the dish or give you heartburn. But I think, style is more evolution than revolution. And, when you're tweaking your personal style, it's about small adjustments. Never lose sight of who you are. Because trends they're not prescriptive, they're not determined by age. But I would say use them mindfully in a way that represents the person that you are today, rather than who you were when you were in your 20s or your 30s.
Beautiful. Marie, never lose sight of who you are. Anne-Marie says so. So look 3, Anne-Marie. Let's have a little look.
3. Now, we talked about multifunctional dressing. This look 3 comes courtesy of our friends H&M at Opera Lane. And this is the shacket. It's hybrid by nature. It's multifunctional, and it's hybrid by name. Shacket means shirt, jacket. And I fell in love with this particular blue check. It's a wool blend. It's $99.99. They do have price points maybe just below the €50 mark. If you're looking for something perhaps just, a bit more budget friendly, by all means, they have different versions. They have them in shorter iterations as well. This one is great because it's both an indoor and an outdoor. I love the idea because it's incredibly warm to wear it just with a t-shirt and leggings. If you're hanging around the house, it's almost like wearing a blanket. It's amazing. It's so comfy. But as I've done here, I put it with a quilted jacket. This is $39.99. Quilting's a big trend for the season, but it's also incredibly practical. And these H&M Conscious wide fit jeans that are really nice and roomy. There's a good stretch in them. I like them as a jean. But this is great to layer over that quilted jacket.
And you know what I love most about that look is that kind of Arctic cool tones in winter. Particularly when everything's getting dark around, that sort of almost walking reflector. It's really kind on the skin. It makes you look more youthful and more glowing. So yeah, Mariah Carey walks around with her lighting director everywhere she goes. So your shacket can be your own personal lighting rig.
This is it. And it's a pastel blue. It's really, and you're right, it's incredibly, incredibly kind on the skin. It's really beautiful.
We've a question in from Bernie Buckley. Hi, Bernie. What is the most important wardrobe accessory we need for our daily life to bring us from home all the way on the long commute to the office in the home?
I know the answer. It's a tote bag. A tote bag. I have one from one of your previous collections, and I use it all the time. You need something to put in your umbrella, a change of shoes if you are changing shoes, your masks, your wallet, your, bits and bobs. I know I carry a lot of things with me. I try my best not to, but invariably I do. But it's great. A tote bag. There's a great brand. I just spoke to her this morning, actually. She's a Dublin designer called Julie Pilo. She's just started her own eponymous brand, and she makes tote bags, a selection of bags, very practical bags. But her tote bags are amazing. She's worked for Marni, John Galliano, John Rocha. So she has this incredible history behind her, and she's been working in fashion for 20 years in accessories, and she's parlayed all of this knowledge into very practical but beautiful bags that are at a nice price point. They're not super expensive, they're not super cheap, they're kind of like Goldilocks or somewhere in the middle, but they're made sustainably in Portugal with Italian leather. They're beautiful and they're really worth checking out. But I fell in love with the tote bag, for sure.
And lovely to find a new bit of design talent in Ireland so that we can support the local economy. Exactly. Let's have a look at your next look, Anne-Marie.
Okay. Oh, this is my look called the new dressed up. This is for people who just categorically will never do joggers. So I'm like, okay, let's get something for the people in the audience who are used to maybe, who love getting dressed up and who simply don't want to have to let go of that. And why should anyone? I remember I lived in Italy many years ago, and there was a thing called the passeggiata that the Italians did on a Sunday. They'd get dressed up to walk. And it was definitely a people watching exercise, but it was wonderful. It was a ritual. And I think that's what's missing at the moment. We need a ritual. And this look from Brown Thomas is my little ritual. The coat, everyone needs a great coat. This, for me, I loved it because I'm tall, so I was being a bit partial in choosing this. This is a long line Crombie, single breasted, but I love the autumnal tones and that rich pumpkin with the brown. It's beautiful. And it's a vegan brand that's new to Brown Thomas called Nanushka, and it's a wool blend. I've paired it with a silk blouse from Dolce & Gabbana and a great sweater because it's sweater weather, as they say. And this is Ganni. It's an alpaca wool blend jumper. And Ganni is this cult Scandinavian brand. And I just think it's nice to introduce some soft tactile layers. Again, we're deferring to comfort while also being stylish. I love these pumpkin corduroy trousers from Victoria Beckham. The color is stunning, but corduroy, again, if you find perhaps denim a bit cold, sometimes wearing denim in winter can be a bit cold, having that kind of fustian fabric like corduroy is a great alternative. And I finished it off with a pair of almond toe Cuban heel cowboy boots. So this is the heel that I was talking about earlier when I was referring to maybe, if you're looking for a heel on your boot or as an alternative to flats. The almond toe is great because it's an alternative to that kind of Western iteration that we've seen. And the bag is from Coach. Even though it has a top handle, it also has a crossbody handle. So as we know, we're all hands-free with masks. So it just shows you can kind of have your style whilst in these uncertain times.
It's about style, it's about design, it's about function, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Everything has to be useful now. I think we're going to move straight into your final look. I'm excited.
Perfect.
I'm sure you have something delicious for last.
Yes, this is from Cork Boutique Samui. Dries Van Noten has forever been one of my favorite designers stroke brand. I just fell in love with what I call the roomy guna. Everyone needs one. It's a one and done dress. And I think it's in particular when we're super busy and we have a lot on our plate. And, if you harken back to the beginning of the pandemic when people were homeschooling while trying to file the Q2 marketing report from the kitchen table, you need something that's quick and easy. This piece will take you between seasons. And I know that's a phrase that's bandied about a lot, but let me explain why. I love the idea that you can put a roll neck beneath this or an underpinning or a cardigan over it. You can wear it with boots or sneakers like I've done here. But I love the kimono sleeve because it's roomy. I love the deep V and I love the pockets and I love that rich pink tone, which is so Zoom friendly and friendly on the complexion. It just gives you a bit of a lift. But these sneakers from Golden Goose,
beautiful. Aren't
they great?
And may I say, Anne-Marie, you look absolutely beautiful in all of those looks. So thank you to Mickey for the photographs as well. What a beautiful shoot.
Yes.
So, Anne-Marie, thank you so much for putting that together. I think really we were all ready for a little inspiration for how to update our wardrobe. So go and enjoy your Leslie cocktail, your ieStyleLIVE cocktail. Happy weekend and talk to you soon.
Happy weekend. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thanks so much to Anne-Marie for all the hard work she put into that. And, of course, to all the retailers who contributed with their wonderful designs. Just a quick reminder that the competition is rolling out. At the end of the broadcast, we will pick our winners for the Dromoland Castle Stay and for the Lancome €500 skincare gift pack. And we will also be picking the ieStyleLIVE hashtag competition. The winner will win €500 at Opera Lane to spend. And I am watching. I'm double screening here. I'm watching Twitter. I'm watching Instagram. You're on fire, ladies. I'm so delighted that you have your glasses of wine, your cocktails, your beers, your whatever you're drinking, whether it's water or orange juice. It doesn't matter. We're just delighted that you're here with us. Hi to Mary Fitz. Hope you're having fun. Hope you've got a couple of safety girls around. Next up, we've given you some fashion. We think it's time to give you some beauty, because regardless of where we're going or where we're not going, we all like the beauty products. Christine Liciniano has worked on celebrity faces from Liz to our own Kors sisters. She's also created the beauty shoot featured in, did I mention, tomorrow's ieStyle magazine? So just as our fashion choices have changed, so have our beauty priorities. So I invite you to sit back, sip gently, and enjoy the making of the most perfect beauty look for our changed times.
Hi there, I'm Christine Liciniano. I'm a celebrity makeup artist.
Hi there.
And my friends at the Out Examiner have invited me to hang out with you for this event, to play with some makeup, autumn, winter, talk about what we're all going through. We want to look fabulous, as you know, I do now, but times are different. So we're going to talk about some of the things, because for the most part, what I usually look like every day is this. Not the same thing, I know, the times that are in it. I'm going to show you some things that you can do to help keep the makeup looking good under the mask, help the skin. There's so many issues with skin under mask. Play up those eyes. Just do what we can do. And Zoom calls, it's all about lighting. So hang on, and I'm going to get my friend Vanessa. So, this is my friend, Vanessa. Hiya. Hey. So, we know each other. We've shot together a good few times. Her skin is normally absolutely perfect, but we've just had a discussion. Nowadays, wearing these obnoxious little pieces, which we all have to do, these cause issues around the mouth. Bumps, we're dehydrated, we're too hot, we're sweaty. So you'll get a little bit of something around your mouth. If you have rosacea, that can be intensified. So today I'm going to use a little bit of the ieDRZN. Super important again, because of what we're all going through at the moment. So I'm just going to sort of touch it and then press it into Vanessa's skin. This is lightweight, but it packs a punch. It looks great under makeup. I like to use my fingers, a sponge, sometimes a brush, but I like to do this in thin layers, because this is what's going to give it longevity. If you come in really heavy-handed with your foundation, even if you want a lot of coverage, it's going to come off too easily. So you need to build up really sheer layers. Now I'm going to conceal, and this is under the eye area, on the lid, anywhere there's a spot. You need your product to be, if it's on your face and you're covering a spot, it needs to be the same shade as your foundation. If you're going under the eyes, you can go a little bit lighter for brightness, but if you suffer from the puffies, don't go too light. Because if you do, the puffies are going to look huge. So come in, I tap with the brush, and then I come in with my finger, and I sort of press it in and set it almost. Come in with a little bit of shape. I like to do this with a moist product versus a dry product. But for now, I'm using the Conti Doll stick. It's a longwear stick. And this is several shades darker than Vanessa's foundation. And I'm just going to come in just like this with my fingers and just cut in a little bit of sculpt. So a little bit of bone structure, nothing too serious and not too much. Just make sure it's blended and it disappears well. I'm going to come in with a loose powder, the same one that I started with, and a brush, and I'm just going to press it into the center of Vanessa's face. This is translucent, so this is not going to alter the color of your foundation. Okay, all over the lids. And Bob's your uncle. So I'm going to come in with one of the brow defining pencils from Lancome, and I'm just faking some hair strokes just to even out. I'm not changing her shape, and I'm really not trying to make her brow look any fuller. But you do want to kind of frame up the face. Okay, in keeping with the theme of layers for longevity of makeup, same applies to the eye area. So what I'm going to do is I'm using a kohl pencil, and this particular one is just the brown, number 02, and I'm warming it up on my hands, but I'm coming in with a brush, and I'm just going to blend that. So this is going to anchor anything I put on top of it. The next thing I need to do is work my eyeshadow and fill in a little more on top of that pencil, really randomly, nothing neat and tidy. Take that same blending brush and just blend that quickly. So this way, we will not move. That eyeshadow is going nowhere. If you want to look just instantly awake, curling the lashes is everything. I do it a couple of times. I give it 2 shots. And instantly, everything looks a little bit more awake. I am addicted to the Mr. Big or Emulsia Big from Lancome Extreme Black. So look down for me, darling, and get that as close to your roots as you possibly can. So I'm coming in here, and this particular color is called Blushing Treasure. So it's the Blushing Treasure. So I say just go with it. Knock some of it off on the back of your hand, and just kind of, if you're going to kind of pinken up and get warm, you may as well even it out with something that's of that undertone that has maybe a little sheen to it. It looks fresh, looks modern. Okay, so now the last thing to do is the lips. Zoom calls. Be very careful. If you go too orange on a lipstick, your teeth could look a little yellow. So just be aware of it. Your light is everything on a Zoom call. Don't sit in front of a window with the light behind you. It just makes you look quite dark and very shadowy. So get some nice daylight. Or, you know, even a regular lamp in the house, just have that on hot in front of you. Put your computer screen or your phone. Just make sure your shadows are filled a little bit. Pay a little bit more attention to your angles and your light when you're on a Zoom call. And now I'm going to lay that Lawnwear creme finish color on Vanessa's lips.
Thank you, Vanessa, for being my model, and David Cashman from Coterie for doing the great hair. To my friends at the Irish Examiner, thanks for including me in on this ieStyle event. I wish we were together, but virtual is the next best thing. And Bara and Robin, you did a great job trying to capture me with all my craziness. Everybody take care, and we'll see you next time. Good night.
I wish you were here to do my makeup tonight. Unfortunately, that is not the case. I've had to muddle through just like I muddled those blackberries, but I am still smiling. I wish I could see you all. You are nearly 2,000 in number as an audience. So once again, if you are there in a party of 2 households and no more, I salute you. I hope you're having a lovely time. If you're on your own, you're not on your own. We're all here with you. So the next segment of tonight is, I suppose, our crescendo, as I said at the beginning. Digital explorer, dedicated news hound, and deliciously, unapologetically ambitious. Sam Barry is the woman we all want to be when we grow up. A powerhouse of can-do attitude with a wicked sense of fun. Sam is Cork's own editor-in-chief of Glamour magazine, now wholly online under her leadership. Samantha Barry, thank you so much for joining us at ieStyleLIVE.
I'm delighted. I was loving all of that. I was autumnal.
I know.
Cold look. I want it all. Makeup tips. I am sitting in front of a window, which is really important for light.
And angle is everything,
it looks
right?
like I hear people are having cocktails, but I'm actually in LA, very social fashion, and so it's midday, so there's no cocktail.
Well, I did suggest getting you a cocktail, but it was deemed to be illegal under the circumstances that it's the middle of the day. So I said, fine. So listen, your career to date has spanned telco, BBC, CNN, and now Condé Nast. You have taken the time to be with us on this working day. I just want to get a sense of what's happening either side of us today.
Oh, well, I'm in LA. We're a couple from announcing who our Women of the Year are. So we're announcing who we're honoring on Tuesday. And then we were doing, instead of an event, because obviously we all can't do events. So that's one of the reasons why I was in LA. So that's coming out on October. So I hope you all tune in and you'll be able to see on lots of different social platforms. And then actually today I'm at a shoot. We're shooting a big campaign for a big event for Christmas. So there's Christmas trees and lots of different things on set, which is interesting. So, yeah.
Fantastic. And what's the weather like in LA?
Probably more on sunny. Too sunny for me.
Oh, nice. Oh, our Cork girl. So, I love the writer Elizabeth Gilbert, and she has a great line about fear. She says that fear is always going to be with you. You're never going to lose it. The trick is to get comfortable with it, to bring it along for the ride. It can sit in the back in the booster seat. It can never choose the music. It can never choose the snacks, and it can never, ever give directions. You, watching your career journey, you got comfortable with fear very early on when you landed in Papua New Guinea. Was that the beginning of your comfortable relationship, or your I suppose your kinship with fear?
And it's interesting because obviously the RT doc that came out over the summer about women of the year was and I think that came from when they announced I was getting the job at Condé Nast. Anna Winter. Sometimes that makes me smile because I'm honestly terrified half the time. But I use makes me want to do something. And for overnights in RT or whatever it was, I'm always, especially in those first year or so, years. It'll tend to drive me, right? Rather than hold me back.
And I think that that's what it is. And it's what came through very strongly in everything that I've read about you is fearlessness is not just in your career, but it's in your comfort in your own skin, I think.
Yeah, I think part of that is, we talked a little bit, a couple of weeks ago, and I think one of the things that I think it's really important to feel confident in yourself. For my mom was very forthcoming with what the Americans would call validation, telling you that you're smart and you're kind and you're doing a good job, and making you say that back to her is my, very encouraging to do. And she would do it to us as children. Jill does it to this day, where she's like, "Oh, you did a great job. What job?" And it sounds really simple, but having in a house where you are and given a good job when you are, is I think that does really stay with you as you grow and lean into my nieces and nephews. And when I'm to them on FaceTime, because it's on FaceTime this year, just those conversations I'm having with them, and they're 8 and 6 and 7 and 3 and where they're doing a good job, like acknowledging that and verbalizing it and saying it out loud is important.
And there's a lot of research behind that it's the idea that you speak it loud and you can hear yourself saying it is training your subconscious to believe it. So, your mum was talking a lot of sense very, very early on. Accepting that you're slightly fueled by the fear. I have to ask you, how defined was your vision for what you could achieve? Did you have any sense of the end goal when you started? Not that it's at the end, by the way. I have to say, I'm sure you have a huge amount more to achieve.
I think when I was approached about this job at Glamour, I wasn't necessarily the pick, right? News in newsroom, in kind of harder news, and to go into features and style and this ridiculous and take over a women's title like Glamour that's been around for 80 plus years was, terrifying. But what it did do was scare me, and in putting my hat in that ring, I did give a lot of time in strategy. What I really wanted the brand to be under my leadership. And I think what has been nice is to be able to see that true. So, we're the biggest podcast brand at Condé Nast. We had, we've got a good few podcasts. Series one around style, Barry does, and it's What I Wore When, where she talks to well-known women about or a moment in their life. I do a financial podcast called Makes Money Moves, and we do we've done some big series.
I love, by the way,
some big investigative stories like Broken Hearts and stuff. So I think I knew there was a couple of things going into want to and cared about as an editor were at the core of it. And I think knowing that, having your North Star, no matter what that is, to come back to, even when it's challenged budgets, even when you're, trying to deal with a changing industry, having your why you're doing it and what you want to do is.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Sam, we have a question from one of our guests tonight. It is from Stephanie O'Sullivan. Stephanie, I hope you're having a wonderful evening. You are now having a live audience with Sam Barry. Her question is, what one piece of advice would you give to somebody trying to figure out their next career step or direction?
It's an interesting one. I think don't be pigeonholed by what you've done before. And what I mean by that is normal run of events. Would I have 3 years being like, I'm the exact right fit for the editor-in-chief of Glamour? Because I had previous career in news, pigeonholed by it, because I knew that the center of what I was doing was storytelling. So understand what your strengths are and how they translate. And if you want to either move into another industry, know that your future shouldn't be defined by your past. As people do get, Stephanie, I don't know what you're thinking about for your next move, but I think sometimes people get kind of terrified of like, oh, could I do that? Or could I do, could I move into fashion, or vice versa? Don't undersell yourself of not applying for jobs that we don't think we have all of the credentials for, while men do not have to save self obstacles in the we're in a world street, and they can move between jobs, and don't be defined by the job that you did before, but acknowledge that you want to do.
Amazing. We've another question in from Mairead Hearn. Hi, Mairead. I feel like Joe Duffy now or something, reading out all these names. As I approach 50 years of age, I kind of feel like I should be taking this one rather than you. But as I approach 50 years of age in a few weeks, happy birthday to be, Mairead. I believe I may be hitting a small midlife crisis. What advice would you give somebody like me who's experiencing a life slump and looking for new challenges? Probably similar to the last question.
It is, and I think it's interesting because I've talked to, we've done a lot actually at Glamour about their second and third and fourth career at 50 and 70. Some of these women, like some of the women that we've talked to with the fashion, or they're working in entertainment for the first time. Again, a lot of people are, they're taking stock at those big, like, what do I want to do with the next 10 years? And you know what, sometimes can be better than anything else. And so I think you should be excited about 50. 50 is a very sexy number, and it's a sexy age, and you should figure out what you want to do, and like, what do I want to do, or what do I want to achieve? Or even if it's as simple as, I know for me, I was thinking about it going safari, and I've never given myself to it. Into 2020, I was like, I'm going on that safari. I don't care if I'm going by myself, I'm going. Obviously, out the window thanks to like setting yourself those little goals. That's the personal one, but I have often gone into a new decade, professional goals that I want to achieve, and understanding that you know, setting them out and manifesting them and working with them is helpful.
100%. Well, no. When I turned 50, my philosophy was that I could now say I had 50 years of experience under my belt. The next 50 years is about applying that experience, you know? So it is a milestone to take you to the next step. And I suppose on that, and on, I've kind of bucketed these questions into the fear, which we've covered, finance. I want to talk to you about money, because your podcast about money is just so fabulous in terms of sort of taking the taboo out of money. And I suppose from your point of view, from a career point of view, once you moved to London, you were very much acting on a global stage, which meant an intrinsic shift in your value. Were you aware of that at the time, and what did you do about it?
I think I was probably more aware of it when I went from London to America. Not really negotiating for myself in my first '89 contract, but just being delighted with how, I was like, oh, this is more than I'm making at the BBC. I should be about getting to New York and having very open and honest conversations with not only some colleagues, but also some friends, to be like, I really should have negotiated more for myself, the second contract. And what that did was open a door for me in understanding that knowledge is power to do with finances. And look, these are all movable feats, right? And it's, again, it's talking about, I talk a lot on the podcast, She Makes Money Moves, about the people's conversations and relationship with money. And what I mean by that, when you're talking at home, what is the conversation you're having with money, and what's the honest, open conversation you're having with it? When you get into it, it's not understanding how that person either thinks or deals with money, because I think sometimes tensions in relationships come to maybe you have one person, an investor, and the other person gets their joy from spending. And what is that understanding in that relationship? And all of these things, just being open and honest, and doesn't mean you have to say Tom, Dick, and Harry what you earn, but I definitely have a group that I know what they, and we talk to each other and we kind of big each other up in either what's your next money goal or your saving goal. My first issue at Glamour was we talked a lot about a fuck-off fund, which is really important for every person, but in particular women to fund. And what it means is really you're always going to run away, but you have that in time, no matter what goes wrong, whether with a lease or a relationship or whatever it is, you have this backup. Now, it might take you a while to get to the place where you have that, but you have that bounce. And I have to say, I've had times in my career where I haven't had that, and I 100% was like barely paying rent sometimes in London. And to get to a place where I have that, and it is a security net for women that is really, really important. So breaking it down, and so much so it's not, as I literally changed the name of the bank account to fuck off fund, because I want to look at it when I put it in every month. Because, yeah, my fuck, or like one, it's. I think that's a ways of like kind of incentivizing the
freedom.
Need to be super ambitious.
So
saver.
So many women, Sam, struggle with their value and with confidence. So I know you do a huge amount to support women to meet their potential and the role that money plays in all that. So I know that currently the current cover of Glamour magazine reflects those very philosophies for you. So what are your top tips to keep in mind for women as they battle, I suppose, legacy structures and bias within the workplace?
And you couldn't ask. She is the OG godfather of equal pay. And what I mean by that is 50 years ago to this cover, 50 years ago, 2 weeks ago was the anniversary of the women in tennis, young rising stars in tennis, really changing the rules on and fight equal pay. And what they did 50 years ago means that all well-paid sports women in America, 8 of them are tennis players.
Incredible.
Completely changed the playing field, equal pay for women in tennis. And I think they did it and they've made changes, and there's still changes to, you know, the World Cup absolutely paid equitably, and they're not. And there's still fights in like parts of sport. But what Billie Jean is for us is this example of where they are in their industry and whatever it is, being very vocal and fighting for equality in pay. I think, you know, here in the US, we're still earning like 70 cents on the dollar of a man. And I think I've said this before, but like women are, and we live, we've got to advocate for ourselves for more. We've got to fight the system better with our finances and saving. And then we've got to, we can still outlive the guys. That's okay. But we've got to, you know, make those changes.
So the last thing I want to talk to you about, Sam, is fun, because something tells me that you know how to have a good time. You've been described as the best wedding guest ever to exist, and you seem to have a whole human approach to fun. In that, like I said before, you're completely comfortable with yourself, and that must give you a certain exoticism in the cool environs of the fashion industry in New York, dare I say?
I don't know. I think sometimes, I think from the outside, sometimes people think magazines or certain people take themselves more seriously than they actually do in real life. So I think the thing is, no matter who they're a person. Like, I think I have as much fun with like my band and colleague ladies as I do at like some Oscar party people, and sometimes you feel more comfortable in one than the other, but you can find fun in what women can find fun in any situation, right? Let's be honest. Deprecating humor or 100%. You know, a funny story.
And do you think that's a factor in your success, that attitude to enjoyment of life?
Let's put it that way. Like, I think I also like people. Like, I think, you know, we as Cork people we want to know what's happening in people's lives. We're very curious people. We want to hear from people. We love telling stories. I think all of those things, media and relationships and like, you know, working with brands and titles and other editors, I think that's really important. Doesn't hold you back. I think, yeah, absolutely helps.
We have a question in from Helena Kelleher. Good Cork name there. Hi, Helena. Helena says, and Helena is obviously researching you with great detail. In your interviews, you always mention Ireland and Cork. Would you ever see yourself coming back to Ireland, or are the opportunities just too vast for you in the States?
If I'm being super honest, I don't think full-time, but I have been like I was on like that recently. There was a beautiful one in Cork that was being sold. I think a couple of friends were saying some beautiful farmhouse that was for sale. A couple of friends. I I don't think full time. I think that I do love it, and I love like my parents and my brothers and nieces there. I have seen that in more recent years spend more time at home. This year is obviously an anomaly to that. But I wouldn't rule West Cork, holiday home where I can, escape and ride and all of that. So time, I do definitely more opportunity in the States.
And you mentioned your nieces and you mentioned your family. Family is obviously hugely important to you.
Oh my God, massive. And I thank, I thank for, like I say a prayer, Apple gods for FaceTime and the ability to, I'm sure lots watching, even if you lived in the vicinity of your parents or, family, couldn't go and physically them and, see them for a year. I know I found that extremely, extremely hard. And I think there was something about being in New York and knowing that even the option of getting on a plane was kind of taken. But yeah, we talk all the time. We're on FaceTime all the time. We're on WhatsApp all the time. Like, I love as well being on the New York Times WhatsApp. Like I've got all the Irish messages have come good. It's good morning reading. So yeah, like we're very close. I love them so much and we're very vocal about how much we love each other on the phone all the time.
It must be like a rain shower of Cork every morning.
So Cork, yeah. There's so many Cork things coming through. And I have like the girls that are all in a WhatsApp group and we chat to each other and send each other funny pictures. And one of the girls is in Sydney at the moment sending the updates from her child's daycare, which is like just they crack us up.
Brilliant. I've one last question. Sorry, Sam. I've one last question for you. And this question is from Tammy O'Driscoll. And Tammy, this is the boldest question. And I just had to throw it in. Have you ever met anybody who has left you completely starstruck?
That's a great question. I Obama last year, and I'd always wanted to meet her. Asked me so much in person. I met I'm just trying to who like I could. I had a thing with Brad Pitt, and I literally couldn't. He's so good looking. I was like, oh Jesus, he's just don't look at him directly in the face. He's so good looking. Like, well, I was talking because I was like, I don't know if I get the words out, and I would just embarrass myself. Who else have I? Like he's with age. And then there's somebody I think like in terms of like Hollywood female stars like Kate Blanchett is there. And then there was a couple of others. There was like this really surreal. Went to my first a room of the 100 of the most like well-known people in the world, and at one stage Jared Leto a gala costume, and I turned around, had a cocktail in my hand, and he was there with his outfit, and then his head, and I was like, is this my so-called life? So I was just literally going, my so-called life is Jordan Catalano. But yeah, there's something like that where Brad Pitt's most starstruck
Sam
you'd ever be.
Sam, you are a greatest trailblazer. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us for ieStyle tonight. Ireland asked me to tell you to keep on smashing it. Have a wonderful day.
Oh, thank you. Well done on today. It looked amazing, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
I hope everyone's had a great time.
See you later. Ladies and gentlemen, and I know there are some gentlemen in the audience who had no choice but to join, you are very welcome along with our girls. It has been my absolute pleasure to shepherd you through tonight's festivities. And now, to guide you all the way home, please welcome your real host for the evening, features editor with the Irish Examiner, Vicky May.
Sonya, thank you so much for a wonderful evening, and I think it was just what we needed in what is a really challenging October, so thank you, Sonya. I'm here with the good bit, the nice bit. I'm here to announce our competition winners. So we need to thank Dromoland Castle and Opera Lane, who are our sponsors. So 2 nights in Dromoland Castle is going to Aveen O'Sullivan. Congratulations, that also includes dinner, you lucky thing. Christina O'Neill is heading off to Opera Lane with €500, so I'm very jealous. And Eileen Toomey wins a €500 Lancome skincare set. So we'll be in touch. Congratulations. Just want to thank our guests. We got to thank the brilliant Leslie, Anne-Marie, Christine, and of course, the inspirational Sam Barry. We're sorry the line wasn't better from LA. We did our best. She was incredible despite it all. I also have to thank our wonderful host, Sonya, and also the amazing team at the Irish Examiner, because an event like this isn't easy to pull off, and I work with the best people, and we're so glad to be here. Another reminder, don't forget to buy your ieStyle, your Irish Examiner, for your free ieStyle glossy magazine tomorrow in shops. So listen, hundreds of you joined us in City Hall last year. We had the most amazing night, and we wanted to be back there again tonight. And look, it wasn't possible. So instead, we're coming to you live in your homes. We will come back next year in whatever way we possibly can. So watch this space, and we hope you enjoy the evening, and good night.